One of the things that's happened with COVID is it's united us across faith, across gender, across community. Sometimes hardship can bring you together in ways that your theology might separate you. But I'm thankful today that we are all one accord, trying to heal this nation, trying to heal this state, and heal this community. And I want to acknowledge those who are here. Reverend William Mizell, who is Senior Assistant Pastor at Grace Church. Reverend Dr. DeCohen, who is the President of the Westchester United Black Clergy and Pastor of the Congregational Heights Church in Mount Vernon. Reverend Stephen Pogue, Pastor of the Greater Centennial. You might raise your hand so they'll know who I'm talking about. Okay. And Bishop C. Nathan Edwards, Friendship Worship Center. Bishop Arthur Thomas, Oneness Rehoboth Apostle Church. Reverend Jeffrey Wheeler, Mount Calvary CME Church. Reverend Vernon House, New Life Fellowship. Iman Musa Abdul Ali, Yusuf Shan Islamic Center in Mount Vernon. Judith Watson could not be here today, but she's our partner. She's the executive director of our Mount Vernon Health Center. She and I at Grace Church have been partners in distribution, and I'm grateful for Mount Vernon Health Center. Reverend Greg Merriweather, Calvary Baptist Church, Haverstraw. Pastor Jim Bostick, executive director of the Nepperham Community Center. Reverend Sean Jones, Star Bethlehem in Ossining. Reverend James Duckett, Fort Martha Baptist Church in the Bronx. Maury Litwack, Orthodox Union. Rabbi Joe Pasternik, Executive Vice President, New York Board of Rabbis. There he is. Eli Forchhammer, Executive Director of Westchester Jewish Council. Rabbi Adam Balchin, Congregational Shirai Tiba. And Dr. Mill Isteen, Westchester Medical Center, Hudson Valley Equity Task Force. We are grateful to be here together. I want to thank the governor for joining us here at Grace Church today. He's been here many times. I've been blessed by his presence and his partnership, and I admire his leadership. I also am honored to host you here today. Today's visit fulfills a commitment that you made last year to our community, that those who were first in line to die from COVID would not be the last in line to get the vaccine. The vaccine that is helping us crush COVID and saving lives. That is one of the reasons I've always liked and respected you, sir. You are a man of your word, like your father. Governor, you've been a servant leader. During the darkest seasons of the pandemic, when there wasn't a map and little understanding of the pandemic, you relentlessly navigated all of us in New York with information and inspiration. Your example has been modeled by multiple states across the country. Your leadership set the standard for how to address the challenges of COVID, and you were delivered the worst case of COVID that hit the United States in the earliest moments of this experiment into our capacity to survive. Last year, you established the New York State Vaccine Task Force to make sure that the vaccines would be safe enough for the people of New York before you took your vaccine. And a short time after you created the Vaccine Equity Task Force, which I had the honor to serve as an executive committee member, to ensure the communities of color would not be overlooked, as they so often and tragically are. Dr. King told us that of all the forms of inequality, racial health injustice is the worst of them all. It often results in physical death, and it causes us to be shocked by how far we are from each other. COVID magnified that painful truth. Racism is a public health crisis, but you have made it your business to get enough vaccines for our people, and you have created mass vaccination sites all over the state that often have overnight hours so that working people could get the vaccine, and more people could get the vaccine quickly as possible. And you have created pop-up sites at churches and community centers all over the state You're a man of your word, and you are a man of principle, and you're a man of action. A lot of people talk a good game, but that's all they can do is talk. You put words into action, and you are saving lives. You said you would take the vaccine until the people, you would not take the vaccine until the people of color of your age category were eligible, and some risk to yourself. You waited 3 months until last week to get your vaccination. You have modeled behavior. You have been a servant leader, and you've got the vaccine in Harlem, surrounded by leaders like Mark Morial and Hazel Dukes in that community. You went to our community to raise the importance of this situation. I'm a preacher, so you know I can't help, but I'm going to tell you. I can tell you that the Bible says that if you have the seed, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say to the mountain, get out of our way. And Governor, you have demonstrated that kind of courageous faith, and it has proven that we are moving the mountains that have blocked us. It's not the first time you've done it. Your whole career, your whole life, from serving people in housing and needs, your whole journey as architect and laying out the blueprint for a better New York, of building the economy, the whole activity. You know, last week I can't help but cross the Mario Cuomo Bridge. Under your leadership, that bridge connected our state. It is an architectural genius that's being seen all over the state, all over the nation. People are admiring it. And this afternoon, I'm going to the new LaGuardia Airport to get a plane, and it wouldn't be possible without you. And across the street, the Thompson Towers, housing towers, is a partnership between our state and you in building affordable housing in this community. So your work ought to speak for you. And those of us who've been the beneficiaries of your commitment ought to stand up and speak. That's right. I have no question and I have no hesitation when asked to speak on behalf of the governor, because I know his works. I know his works. Some people are stuck on words, but I'm stuck on work. And the governor has demonstrated great work. You also made it clear that vaccines are safe. All 3 vaccines. I think you've done a magnificent job in letting the black and brown communities know that the vaccine is safe. You know, we have a history of distrust. That's one of the things we've got to overcome. African Americans, not only the absence of supply, that's not just our problem. Our problem is that African Americans and people of color have a historical reluctance, a history that takes away trust and builds fear. And so we have to go down deep to free people from misinformation and conspiracy theories that cause them to not want to take the value. But your focus on our community is a welcome focus, and we're grateful. So having access to them is key, and you are making it a reality. Right here at Grace Church, we are launching, as you said earlier, a pop-up site tomorrow, but also a vaccine center. You please sign up at first, those of us who are here, as the governor has said, somovaccinations.com, and get the capacity to take it. This is the time to do it, and it will save lives. Yours, mine, our neighbors. Remember, taking the vaccine is not just for you. You take a vaccine to save the lives of others. You take the vaccine to save our grandmothers and our grandfathers and our children. You take a vaccine to make our city safe, our nation and our state safe. Houses of worship have been and will continue to be a crucial part of ending the crisis. I implore my fellow leaders of all faith to follow this model, which has worked so well in moments of real challenge. We reverends, rabbis, and imams have come together to bring peace to our shared community. We must do that again. And now with today's announcement, 50 people 50 or over will be eligible for vaccines. As we learn in the book of Romans, love one another with brotherly love and affection. Outdo one another in showing honor.